at DraftKings after dropping Game 3. Game 4 tomorrow projected to be close. Knicks are minus 125 to win that. The betting underdog, I should mention, has won each of the first 3 games of the series. I'll repeat, home teams are 0-3. So the Windman doesn't make predictions, but I'm going to ask you the following. If I were to say whoever wins tomorrow night's Game 4 is going to win the NBA championship, would you co-sign that?
Of all the series that I've ever covered, typically in this situation, I would agree with you. The way this series has gone, particularly the fact that it would become a 3-game series if the Spurs win it with home court, I would say yes, because obviously I don't think the Knicks lose in 3 in a row. But because of the home court thing, I got to step back. I'm having a hard time figuring this out. I'm having a hard time figuring out whether the Knicks is an easy fix for the Knicks to tighten themselves back up, whether this is existential. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet.
We can mention the home court advantage piece of it. A45, if you would, please. I made the observation this morning in our meeting. It just feels like home court has meant so little in these playoffs, and indeed it has. So far this postseason, home teams are 46-37. That is the worst single postseason winning percentage, not including the bubble, which there was no home and road, since 2002, which was the last year before the NBA went to best of 7 in every series. So, Alan,
there's just one thing to think about, though, is the home court thing. Game 5 in San Antonio. Do you expect the Spurs to lose 3 straight games at home?
No, that's
they
the
don't
point.
do that,
right?
And that's why the home thing does work in the favor of the Spurs in this situation, which is what makes Game 4 for the Knicks so critical.
I feel like if the Knicks take a 3-1 lead, it will be very difficult to picture them losing. I feel like if they give back all of the advantage that they built up, and with all the momentum the Spurs would at that point have, and additional days off between every game, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, I think that also favors Wembanyama. I think whoever wins, now I'm the same person who told you at halftime last night the Knicks are going to win by 20.
Yeah.
That's another one of my greatest hits. But I think that whoever wins, I turned to Stevie.
Here's your plaque again.
I turned to Stevie. This game's over. It's over. Let's get out of here. This game is over. Beat the Chargers. But that's what I think. I think whoever wins tomorrow night is going to win.
It is fascinating that the Knicks have played 4 games in 23 days. And yet you're seeing we're getting to Game 4, and it feels like because of the weight that Jalen Brunson has to carry, that he's tired. It feels like he's mentally
So you're
tired.
a point guard. What can they do about it? Because, I mean, you just said, can someone else bring the ball up the floor? Can they go into like a press break kind of an offense early?
I'm sorry to jump your question, Jay. We teammates. Take the pass without assist. This group, the dynamic ball handler creator, that role is limited. They're at their best when their defense can buy them easy baskets.
Yeah.
They averaged 15 points off of turnovers in the first 2 games, and still the second game came down to a 1-possession ball game.
Right.
The way you help Jalen Brunson is this defense has to be at its best to create some easy ones.
All right. So normally in a series that's been this good, we would spend the entire morning talking about it. But there was a story defensive, and here comes Landry Shamet, and Victor has other ideas.
Yeah, he does. But I think when you're a smaller guard, you have to recognize that a 7'5" alien is on your hip. And that's where you use the rim as a shield and you get to the opposite side of the rim. You don't try to lay the ball back in the front.
Is there another human that can make that play, though, Jay?
By the way, if he's 7'4", I'm Yao Ming. That guy is so much taller. He makes Karl Anthony Towns look like a guard.
Can I please get the hell away from Yao?
That's
all I want to do.
Just Manute Bol. Pick another very tall person.
Please, pick somebody else.
Chuck Nevitt. Anyway, over the last
a good
30 postseasons, there have been 5 players to score 25 points in their first 3 career finals games. Wembanyama is now among them, alongside Shaq, Kevin Durant, Nikola Jokic, and Luka Doncic. That's pretty ridiculous. Here's Wembanyama on being the villain at the Garden.
You obviously got Knicks fans very riled up throughout the game. At one point, there was a colorful chant directed towards you. It seems as though you may be New York's newest villain. Is that kind of the ultimate compliment?
I guess I'm nowhere near Trae Young level, though.
His awareness in general.
Trae just took a stretch.
Randomly in the New York streets while they're chanting all the different Knicks stuff. All of a sudden, Trae Young comes up. One guy, I was walking past through Penn Station. A bunch of people were just waiting for the game last night. and fans are walking through, and one guy just yells something about Trae Young that I can't say on the air.
Yeah.
And then everybody just starts chanting it. Like it's become a refrain in New York. But
well, they chanted it at Wemby last night.
Yeah, they did.
And so, so we had a lot of conversations, and even the word villain up there. In what way, Monica, do you think he dominated the game? Because watching it last night in the paint, tell us about that.
In the paint. I'm with Wendy. As soon as you saw, okay, you're gonna have 3 dunks by the end of the first quarter, like, okay, we're in for a long night. I think there were 2 things. Offensively, he was aggressive in the paint, and the Spurs looked for him, and they passed the ball to an area that only he can get in terms of those finishes, right? And then defensively, the Knicks didn't move him around. If you go back and watch the first 2 games, especially the first game in particular, he's out on the perimeter having to guard Karl-Anthony Towns. But when he switches back to guarding Josh Hart last night and they can just hang out in the paint, both offensively and defensively, like, this is what you get.
That's what I wanted to get to here. Let's teach some stuff here, because all I am is a fan. I learned so much about basketball from asking you people these questions, you guys up here who know the game so well. The Knicks have gone away from, it appears, this offense that has made them the darlings of the basketball world. This ball has energy, all that kind of stuff. And last night we saw almost none of that, and there was a lot of that ISO ball and Jalen Brunson dribbling. Is that because, if that is because of what the Spurs are doing, what are the Spurs doing?
No, it's both. Obviously, the Spurs are make things tough, but the second half, 6 assists as a team.
The Knicks.
Yeah. Brunson, 4 turnovers, 2 assists, 4 turnovers in the second half, 6 assists as a team. Ramon Shumpert, our colleague here, was talking about this to me last night. He's watching, and because the ball stays on one side of the court, okay, even when the Spurs are in disadvantageous matchups, they can correct it. For example, what the Knicks want is they want Wembanyama over to the corner so he can get out of the way. Well, Brunson's holding the ball for so long that Wembanyama is able to switch out of it and get it's so slow that he's able to get back into his position to defend that spot. And so not only is it just about getting Towns the ball, it's letting the Spurs set their defense. If the ball
also because the more that the Spurs are in rotation, then you have to recover, and that opens up dribble drive situations. If you noticed last night, Wemby took the player always in the bottom corner.
Yeah, he did.
So it didn't matter who that player was. Whatever player was in the corner, that was his player, and he played a free safety.
This is what he did against the Thunder.
Yes.
This is how he was so effective against the Thunder, is because he was able to do that and then come over as the late help or the rover. And you saw the Knicks hesitate. Every time they saw that shadow, they did not want to shoot the basketball. Also, the 2 days off in between games, he was a different guy, especially in the fourth quarter. We saw him fade at times in the fourth quarters and late in the first halves as well, running out of gas because it was a lot up and down. He looked fresh in this game, and the 2 days off is something to watch because after Wednesday, every game is 2 days off.
He played the entire fourth quarter, which he almost never does. The way he was able to get away with that was there were so many fouls.
That's true,
He was able to rest. There was also a couple of review stoppages.
Now, for all of that, and we're all right in these observations, there were still moments, and I hope you got some good in the plays too, Jay, but there were still moments where the Knicks were able to get him out of the paint, and that's when you saw Jalen Brunson a couple times, particularly on the left in the second half, kind of put on the Jets because he's out of the paint and finish at the rim.
So to that point, right now, I have no good plays.
Oh, boy.
Jay is going to do
always has good plays.
a tape breakdown as only he can on this. But let me advance my question. Does that explain why Karl-Anthony Towns went from being, through 2 games, the most valuable player on the floor to a guy who last night clearly was, I'm not going to say he was a non-factor, but he was certainly nowhere near what he had been. Is that the reason?
I don't think so.
What I circle is in the second half of game 2, he got 2 quick fouls, okay, and they pulled him out of the game. And that was when that whole game changed. Wembanyama started scoring. I don't think he's been the same. They lost their rhythm a little bit. So today, they got to get in the film room and get it back.
Monica looks skeptical. But
I disagree with that. Go, Jay. Go. I'm going to come back to it.
I was going to say, Monica, I'm curious to get your opinion because you guys both there around the team.
It's about Towns. To me, this is a big. Karl-Anthony Towns dominated the first 2 games.
I was going to say why. Jalen Brunson feels like it's the only dynamic ball handler that can handle the pressure of the bigger guards, right? So Mikal Bridges, all those other guys, they're decent. They're not like Jalen Brunson. So it feels like he has to be the guy to bring the ball up the court. I wish whoever Wemby was guarding could be the person to initiate the offense and then play the offense through the person who has the biggest advantage on the court, which is Karl-Anthony Towns, not Jalen Brunson, and let Brunson play more off the ball and be more reactionary.
Yeah, but Towns isn't being guarded by Wemby as much. He's being guarded more physical by Keldon Johnson beating the hell out of him. They've got other guys now beating him up instead of Wemby. who he's stronger than, and he had that advantage in games 1
But to Wendy's point, and Jay's point, for that matter, I don't want to hear that in the finals. Because them dudes are you giving up 4 inches to those, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have to force the issue, see what happens.
Post up stronger.
Yeah,
Keldon
like,
Johnson. He's a guard.
Come on, man.
I mean, I know he's a big guard, but he's a guard.
he's a
You're
thick guard.
6'10".
But I think, Greeny, the offense that we all have dreamt about through this postseason involved a lot of really good screens and finding soft spots in terms of switching. The Spurs were fine just switching straight up because they got Wemby on the back end and help.
And
So
they got
once
4
again,
guards that
we
can-
got ourselves a series now headed to Game 4 tomorrow night, right back at Madison Square Garden. Who has the advantage? We will dive in coming up. Did the Knicks get it wrong last night?